So hi, Woman Grown Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Domenic from Broadside.
I have some questions to say about the upcoming album, Hotel Bleu. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Oh, it's been great. We're super excited. We've been waiting to announce the album for almost a year now. So super. I know we've been working on it for quite some time. So we've been eagerly waiting, and the response has been nice. So we're super excited.
Damn, yeah. Are you telling me you guys have been sitting on this for a year, like fully completed, or?
No, a large portion of it. So we started recording songs before we knew that we were going to be doing an album in, is it 2023? Like March of last year, we started recording some songs, and then eventually we wrote the rest of the album. And by the time the album comes out, it'll be a year since we entered the studio to actually finish the bulk of the album. So yeah, kind of. So half a year anyways, been sitting on a finished album. So
that's fucking crazy. Well, this album fucking rocks. It's so
immaculate.
Good.
Have you heard it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, wow. Cool. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting.
Yes.
Wow. So many people haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
We're all
I'd say
here.
Majority.
Yeah. And we all know what the album sounds like. So it makes the conversation that much better.
Exactly.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. This is great.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Definitely a bit of a sound change from the last one.
Just a little bit.
Yep. We're strong believers that if you're not pushing the sound, trying to see what else you can do as a band, explore new genres, quote unquote, it can get a little stale. Ollie, Pat, and I all like a very diverse set of music, and we were a little torn on which way we wanted to take this album. Mm-hmm. So we said, let's just do all of it. Let's just try to do all of the sounds, which is kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah. So the first 3 Broadside records all have references to water in some way, whether it's a photo or the last one, Into the Raging Sea, has an actual sea. Paradise has a little circle of a wave on it. So this one doesn't have water, but blue is water-esque. That's kind of where that one came from. Ollie and I really kind of fell in love with the art style. It's called Bauhaus art style. And we really loved that. So that's where the hotel came from, and just the theme, the imagery, the meaning behind the hotel kind of comes from what I was saying, how the album has so many different sounds on it. We basically wrote each song from a different guest's perspective in the hotel, and that's kind of our through line with why a song I'm going to say some names maybe you're not too familiar with, but the opening track Stranger is a little bit more rock driven, and then we have songs How to Love, How to Lie, which is a little bit more, I don't know, The Cure, the Smiths-esque. Even to Don't Lose Faith is straight up a 1975 pop song, kind of very synth heavy. Each one is supposed to take place in a different room in the hotel, so that's what the cover art is supposed to be alluding to.
I'm glad that you guys went all the way in with the hotel theme, because I know that was a big push in the marketing when you guys first announced the record. So I was like, I hope that there's a concept within the record for the hotel.
It would be silly if we did a bunch of music videos of us in a hotel room and then just dropped it.
That's it.
True. It's just this was all fun and games, but the songs have nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would have been kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Silly.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album?
Yeah, so like I said, we wanted to really explore a bunch of different sounds. So we got together and just kind of wrote whatever was coming out. There were no bad ideas, right? So some of the songs obviously were not great and you'll never hear them, but it was kind of a good exercise that we had where we were having a lot of trouble sitting down and trying to write a Broadside song. And it was kind of getting us to a place where like everything was kind of stagnant, and it's like, oh yeah, well, we did that 2 records ago, or last year or whatever. So we just sat down and just whatever we wrote for the day is what we wrote, whether it was going to be used, not used, trashed completely, reworked into something else, or like a song that I brought up a second ago, How to Love, How to Lie, is more or less like the song that we demoed here in my room that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was cool. This was also the first time that the band has worked with a couple different producers. We went to this guy in Orlando, Andrew Wade, who's done like A Day to Remember, The Ghost Inside, Neck Deep, and then a guy in Nashville named Andrew Bayless, who has done a lot of awesome work. Most notably, do you know who Jelly Roll is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, he did a lot of writing and stuff with Jelly Roll.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was another fun thing. We got to take our ideas to like 2 very professional music people who really know what they're doing, and they got to kind of give their input, which is cool.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So what song off this album took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Oh, the longest to write.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm trying to remember. Also, now they all have new names, so I'm trying to remember what they're actually called.
Yeah.
I guess this is gonna be a little roundabout of an answer.
Okay.
This song, the opening track to the record, it's called Stranger. It didn't necessarily take the longest to actually sit down and write, but it was the last song that we wrote. So we had 11 songs that were completed. We went on tour earlier this year, and we got a chance to play in front of like a bunch of crowds. And I every night was really taking in which songs that we would play that the crowds really liked. And I really took that to heart. And I was like, okay, I think that we need to go back in the studio after this tour and write another song that sounds more just like straightforward, like rock, because the crowds really respond well to our other songs that sound like that. So although when we actually sat down to write it, it didn't take that long, it was kind of the last piece to the puzzle. And it actually booted out another song that was on the record that, yeah, I know. This is the first time that we've gone in and like actually fully recorded like 3 or 4 other songs that we're just not releasing.
Like, there's like no plan to release it? Is it like a B-side? Is it like a extended version?
Maybe this album will explode. It's going to be the biggest album ever, and we're going to have to do a deluxe re-release of it, and then sure, we'll put those ones.
Okay, if that happens, you pinky promise that that's
gonna 100%.
Score's gonna make it happen.
I'm gonna fucking make that shit happen.
I think though, to answer the second part of the question, my favorite song on the record, it's already out. I love Cruel. The song, I think it's just such a good song. I can't believe that we wrote it. Like every time I listen to it, I'm just like, I can't believe this happened. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's you guys.
Yeah, awesome.
So how the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, close be a closer, shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Oh, it was a big shuffle. The last song on the album is the title track, quote unquote. It's called Blue. We knew that was going to be the closer to the album just because It's kind of like what Broadside does as a band. The last track to the previous 3 records all have kind of some sort of like stripped down song, and that's what this is. It's like a true ballad. It's pretty awesome. That might be my second favorite song on the record, actually. But the rest of it, once we finished all of the songs, I just sat in here with headphones on and I just listened to every single one and basically just organized them to how I thought would be kind of like a fun flow throughout like a fun journey to listen to.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Can I ask you guys a question? When you listen to albums, do you like there to be like a start and an end, or is that something that you don't really pay attention to?
I love a crazy opener and a crazy closer. So I like it to be just big. So it solidifies it as this is the opener, this is the closer. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Definitely pay attention to the openers and closers as well. And I'm also not a big fan of the cliche like slow song in the middle, which is why I'm glad that like this one's on the end. Yeah. I'm just like, I got some favorite records where the slow song's in the middle, and it's still a favorite record of mine, but ruins the flow.
It does.
Yeah.
That's fair. We for the last record, Into the Raging Sea, that we did, we started it with like a really, really slow song, but it was also like a very different song for us. Yeah. So we just thought that it really like introduced this like new kind of thing that we were doing as a band. It introduced the record really well. And I think it ultimately paid off, because it basically, when people started listening to the album, they immediately were like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. This is going to be cool. And then same with this one. This one's like a pretty rockin' song. So
yeah,
it's pretty rockin'.
It's pretty rockin'.
I would describe it that way. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Yeah. If I can be just brutally honest, it was a little like stressful. It was a little like kind of doubtful. We were kind of trying to figure out what everything was going to look like for our band. I don't know if anyone listening or either of you have seen us play like this year or last year, but we, coming out of COVID, really weren't sure if there was a spot for Broadside in the world. There's so many new bands that popped up. They're all doing really great. We're friends with a lot of them, and we just weren't sure if we were going to be able to make the cut and like stick around. And also, we're all getting older, so it is kind of a hard space to navigate. So that's kind of where we're at. We're like, all right, it's going to be like all in for this record. So it was a lot of pressure, honestly.
Yeah.
But pressure creates diamonds. So who knows? Maybe this will be a huge, huge hit of an album.
It will be.
I'm glad that you guys kind of found your spot post-COVID, because it's been so awesome to watch you guys, somewhat of veterans compared to the bands that you guys have been taking out, like really taking these new bands under your wing. And I mean, you've got 3 of them on your record, like, and uplifting them and giving them a platform is awesome. It's just like, even this tour lineup coming up, this Wildlife, you guys, and then 2 very young bands with Worry Club and Not My Weekend. It's just awesome.
Yeah, we're super excited. I mean, that's just like new bands, especially new bands that are getting popular. They're getting popular because they're doing something cool. You know what I mean? So like Honey Revenge is about to be the biggest band that anybody has ever heard of. And anybody who came to see that tour earlier this year with the home team and us and Honey Revenge, they're going to be able to look back and be like, oh my God, I saw Honey Revenge play to, like, in some cases, like we played in Reno, there was like 200 people. Like, actually, I don't even think there was 200 people there. So the people there are going to be like, oh my God, I saw Honey Revenge in like a stage that was a foot off the floor. Anyways, we just like young new bands. They're like cool. None of them are jaded. They're just nice, and they still have like a lot of like energy, and it's fun to be around that, especially after like touring for as long as we have.
Absolutely. And is that kind of like part of what's keeping you guys going, is like being around all of that young energy in a sense?
It I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's what's keeping us going, but it definitely is keeping things fun and interesting. Honestly, it is nice to be around groups of people who are just like excited to be sleeping in their van, and they're happy that the venue has one green room and it's the size of a closet, and it's also right off the stage, and there's no ceiling to it, so it's just like sitting on the stage and you can't even hear yourself think. It's nice because after touring for so long, sometimes you're like, man, this sucks a little bit, like, even if, and then you go on stage and the show is great, but it is nice to be with groups of people who are still really excited about it.
Absolutely.
Not to kind of sound like a jerk, but
I got you.
My back, I'm 30, my back just doesn't handle sleeping in the van that well,
No, it's okay. I completely get it. I actually, to bring up the question, if we've seen you guys live in the past year or so, I actually did see you guys live. I forget which tour it was. You guys have done so much shit and have announced so much shit, but it was the one with fucking Sharia Moore, I believe.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, that was last year. I think it was December, if I'm remembering properly.
No, it was
like August. That was their headline.
August?
It was like July, August. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was way off. That's really embarrassing. Holy shit. But fucking amazing. Actually, I saw you guys in Richmond. It was the Canal Club. So yeah, it was a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Great fucking performance. One of the best performances I've seen. And I went to a lot of fucking shows last year, and you guys are like top 3. I'll give you guys top 3 for that shit.
Thank you. That show
still got it.
That show was awesome. We had just found out that our drummer Jeff, that was going to be his last show. So we were all just like really just soaking it in. And we hadn't played Richmond, I think, which is where the band's from. We hadn't played there for a little bit. So it was just a great time. I'm glad you were there. I think about the show all the time.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's a good ass show.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? If you're doing the car with friends and dark with headphones on, is a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that they should listen to it by themselves first. They can really soak everything in. Ollie did a really fantastic job with a lot of the lyrics, and I think that it's going to be something that people are going to really want to listen to and just soak in, and then immediately get in the car, grab all your friends, start blasting all the bangers with everybody, and then have those friends go grab their friends and do the same, and they grab their friends and do the same. Also, I would recommend listening to it with like headphones or like a really good set of speakers, just because there is a lot of like really good production that we put into this one that I feel like really comes out a lot more with a good pair of headphones.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
Okay. Sad ass shaking.
Sad ass shaking. That's beautiful. That's poetry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have going through the album?
I want people to listen to this album, and if maybe they're in a place where they feel like they're as cliche as it is, if they feel like they're kind of like alone, or like they think they're the only person who's like going through some situation in life, that they can relate to a song on this record, and it really like comes through and lets them know like, oh, other people are having this same feeling, whether that's heartbreak, the loss of somebody, just kind of like being a little like lost in life in general, just directionless. I feel like we did a good job at like putting a lot of thought into each song, and each one is kind of written almost as like its own story. So like there are like the typical Broadside like love songs, and then there's a lot of like really like deep, like gut wrenching, like sorrow filled like songs. And I just hope that people when they're going through this, they just don't feel alone, and they feel seen and heard and loved.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Awesome. So are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this album, positive or negative?
Yeah. I'll try and do both, because I feel like I'm taking this in kind of like a sad direction. We have a song, I've touched on it already, called Blue on the album. And without giving too much away, it is about a pretty tough situation that Ollie and his fiancée Sarah went through over the course of the past couple years. And it was a pretty tough song to write. Lyrically, there was a lot of points where it was just like it was just tough all around, because it was a very personal thing that was going on with them, and Ollie wasn't really sure how much he wanted to share, but he did want to write about it. And there was just like a lot of times in the studio where it was just tough. But on the opposite side, we wrote a song called Don't Lose Faith, and it is a love song in a roundabout way. And the bridge is like the most like ass shaking moment in Broadside's history. And while we were writing it, it was just like the most like exciting thing that any of us had like felt for a long time. We were in the studio with Andrew Wade, and he just kept on like stopping us and like blasting it. He turned off the lights, and we were all just like dancing in the studio. It's so cool. So yeah, those are the two, one high, one low moment.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Love that.
Thank you.
So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Oh, it's the buffalo chicken rollers from any gas station that has roller food at it, hands down. I eat them even not on tour. I'm obsessed with roller food. They hurt my stomach, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Even
At
on
least you're
tour,
self-aware.
you're willing to hurt your stomach like that?
Yeah, so it's a big thing. If I have the night drive, if I'm the one who's having to drive us at night, I intentionally eat things that give me a stomach ache to keep me awake.
That's a crazy method, but I see how it works.
It's not a fun one, and I hate it, and I don't like that I do it, but it's really something that I have found very helpful.
Have you heard of coffee, energy drinks?
They do nothing for me. They do no, they really don't do a whole lot. It's it's like you build up an immunity, like when you first start drinking like caffeinated beverages, the first like month you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then you're like 2 years in, and now you're having to drink like 2 cups of coffee to get that same amount of energy. 10 years of touring, I can't drink enough Red Bulls or Celsius now to keep me awake.
But the tummy aches, you don't become immune to those.
Yeah. Oh, actually, there is a drink. It's called I think it's like C4. I don't know. And they have like flavors like Skittles and Starburst and stuff. There's pre-workout or creatine. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it makes me itchy. That's another one. If they don't have roller food, I make myself itchy. What about you guys? What do you have it for snacks?
Well, I don't go in with the intention of making my stomach hurt or itchy. But if I'm okay with making my stomach churn a little bit, the Takis.
Yeah.
And the old reliable are the dill pickle Lay's potato chips.
Yes. Very cool.
Usually get sour gummy worms or like salt and vinegar chips,
You just listed 2 of my favorite chips. The salt minis and the pickle, they're great.
Yeah.
Look at this. That's vinegar. Okay. That's the running theme with those 2.
Yeah.
So I'm picking up. Yeah.
Big fan of that.
Big fan. Me too. Big fan. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Oh, we'd be lo mein, a
Okay.
vegetable lo mein. Um, that's because that's what we eat on tour. If we have the choice and there's just like a hole in the wall takeout Chinese spot, that's where we're going. Two of the guys in the band are vegan. I'm not, and but Chinese places always have something for everybody. We love it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So for the last couple of questions, going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, okay. No, this is great. I thought this was going to be a lot harder, but it just popped into my head. This is a dream that I've had for nearly 15 years. So if I was to be on death row, they were going to put me down tomorrow. This is exactly what I would say. I want to go to Panda Express specifically.
Okay.
And I want to get their fried rice, lo mein, but if I could be really picky, their lo mein without the celery in it, because I don't like celery.
Okay.
And I would ask for orange chicken, right? I would take that. I would go to Taco Bell.
Okay.
Lucky for me, where I live, I have a Panda Express and a Taco Bell directly next to each other.
Beautiful.
I've never done this, by the way. This has been a dream of mine. As I mentioned, I'm 30 years old. I have a job. I have plenty of money. I could do this at any given moment. Never done it. Anyways, I would grab those 3 items from Pan Express. Then I would go to Taco Bell. I would get a beefy 5-layer burrito, and I would ask them to, I don't know, like double wrap it. So I would have extra tortilla. I would unwrap it then in my car, obviously. And I would put all of the Panda Express items into the burrito, the beefy 5-layer, which does have cheese in it, by the way, which I guess I haven't really given too much thought to, that this is like nacho cheese and Chinese food. I think it still sounds good. Okay. Then I would wrap that all up together.
Okay.
And I would eat it. It would be, I think it's good. I think it's good. And then as far as a drink goes, I'm really into water. And I think I would just want like a really not too cold, it's somewhere between cold and room temperature. Yeah. Just a really good glass of water.
Chilled.
Okay.
Yeah, chilled. Very good, but not cold. Just chill.
Yeah, chilled. So are we ending up with 2 burritos, or is this 1 burrito?
1 burrito. Everything is inside of the beefy 5-layer. All the Panda Express items go inside of the beefy 5-layer burrito.
So you have a problem with, well, you're second guessing the nacho cheese and the fucking Chinese food.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about the refried beans and the Chinese food. That's what troubles me.
Never even thought about it, but I think it would still work.
You could sub it for black beans.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes it better.
The one thing I hate at Taco Bell still, because I hated Taco Bell for a long time and I finally come around, is the refried beans. I will sub it for black beans every single time, because the refried beans are terrible, disgusting.
That's ridiculous.
They're really, it's not even beans. They're refried beans. It's a paste.
Yeah,
that's what refried beans are.
It's so bad.
Well, but sometimes you can go and there's like still chunks of like beans in it.
Yeah,
this is just paste.
It's just paste. Okay. Yeah. So you like more of the natural, authentic refried beans where it has the little chunks in it.
Yeah, I guess if I was going to be picky, but I still think it would be good. I think the beans, the cheese, all of it would go well with the orange chicken and whatnot. I think it'd be awesome.
I hope you get to try that, but not on death row, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, keep us posted.
So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
I guess like Hogwarts.
Okay.
Or this isn't really fictional, but like the X-Men movies, because they do take place, and not the new Marvel ones. I'm talking about like the ones with Hugh Jackman and I love the idea of having some sort of power, whether it is with a wand or maybe I'm an X-Men and I can snap and like a little flame appears in my hand. That seems kind of fun. So absolutely. Yeah, one of those two. Any world, I'll say those 2 worlds. Any world where I can have a power or some sort of ability.
Hell yeah. For Harry Potter, what house are you?
Oh, I'm a Ravenclaw. I took the test. Nobody believes it, but I've taken it multiple times. And I'm doing it truthfully.
Yeah.
People are like, you're just picking the answers you think you should. I'm not. I'm picking the answers that feel correct to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Why do they think that's inaccurate?
Because they think I'm stupid and Ravenclaws are really studious and they all read and I don't.
That's crazy.
I know. It hurts my feelings.
As it should. What the fuck? That's crazy. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
I think you're a great Ravenclaw.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Am I allowed to ask you guys what houses you're in?
I like to say, I actually just took the test like last week and it kind of broke my heart a little bit. I've been saying I'm Hufflepuff for like the past fucking like 10 years or something. Yeah. I took the test last week and now I'm a Gryffindor, so I don't really like
your
what's
identity's
happening right
been
now.
shattered.
I mean, at least it fucking matches my banner behind me now, but
true.
I'm still kind of sad about it.
It's okay.
I read one Harry Potter book, so I didn't take the test. I have no idea. People say they're going to go to Hogwarts. I'm like, sounds good.
I gotcha.
I know nothing about nothing. Glory usually just throws a name out there, and I'm like, yep, that sounds right.
Yep, that sounds right. I usually say either Ravenclaw or Gryffindor for him. That's usually it.
Okay. For this, good? We can both be Ravenclaw. That sounds nice.
That sounds good to me.
Together.
All right.
Good. Aww, that's good.
So I've done asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Oh, purple. Big time purple.
Yeah, a specific shade of purple?
No, like not like a I do like lavender, but not like a lavender. Just like when you think of purple, that color. Yeah. That purple.
Standard purple. Hell yeah. Classic
purple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Oh yeah, big time. Broadside has our 4th record coming out November 10th. It's called Hotel Bleu. You can pre-order it now. There's like 4 vinyl variants. You can get some of them from Sharptone Records. We have our own vinyl variant on our website, broadsidemerch.com. We also put up a bunch of cool Hotel Bleu related pre-order merch. You can get that, including a hot sauce. That seems pretty crazy that we're doing that, but I'm excited about it. We're also going on tour with This Wildlife, Worry Club, Not My Weekend, and it starts November 1st, somewhere not in Florida.
Somewhere in the U.S.
I think it's in Phoenix. Yeah. And we're going to be out for the entire month of November into December, and that's pretty much all I got to plug right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sound. It's been Domenic from Broadside, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.